My grandson gave me an ultimatum. Give him my classic car or be cut from his life. He never thought I'd revoke the title. You know, in my 78 years, I've learned that some days are carved into your memory forever. My grandson Liam's college graduation was supposed to be one of the good ones. The sun was shining, the backyard was strung with lights, and the smell of barbecue filled the air. I was so proud. That's why I drove over in my pride and joy my 1965 Ford Mustang, a car I'd spent 20 years restoring with my own two hands. I thought maybe I'd take Liam for a spin later, talk about passing it down to him one day. I should have known better. The betrayal came just as the party was in full swing. I was standing by the punch bowl, talking with some of Liam's friends when he swaggered over, his new diploma already making him cocky. "Hey, Pops," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. He slapped the hood of my Mustang. "Still driving this old relic? When are you gonna get a real car?" It's embarrassing. A few of his buddies snickered. My heart sank into my shoes. I tried to laugh it off. This relic has more class in its grille than most new cars have in their whole frame, son. But he wasn't done. He leaned in, his voice dropping to a venomous whisper just for me. "Look, Grandpa, I'm starting a new life. I need a proper vehicle. I've wanted that car since I was a kid. It's time you gave it to me. Consider it my graduation gift." I was stunned. "Liam, this isn't just a car. This is my project. My history." His eyes turned to ice. "Fine. Then consider this your choice. You sign the title over to me by the end of the week, or you can forget about having a grandson. You won't be welcome at my wedding. You won't meet your future great-grandkids. Nothing." It felt like a physical blow. I looked at this young man I'd helped raise, and I saw a stranger. A greedy, entitled stranger. I didn't say a word. I just nodded slowly, got in my car, and drove home, the celebration fading in my rearview mirror. The silence in that car was deafening. That night, the hurt was a heavy weight on my chest. But as the sun rose, something else rose with it, a clear, cold clarity. He thought I was just a sentimental old man. He didn't know about the file. I have a fireproof lockbox, and in it, next to my will and my late wife's letters, is the file for that Mustang. And in that file is a single, powerful piece of paper I'd had drawn up years ago, just to be safe. It was a simple document, notarized and perfectly legal, stating that while Liam was listed as the secondary driver on the insurance for convenience, the vehicle's title remained solely and irrevocably in my name, Harold Jameson. It was my secret strength. I didn't get angry. I got smart. I made 2 phone calls. The first was to my lawyer, Susan, a sharp woman who doesn't suffer fools. I read her the document. She confirmed it was ironclad. The second call was to a friend who runs a premium auto storage and transport service. I laid out my plan. It was time to teach Liam that some legacies have to be earned, not demanded. The revenge unfolded a week later. I knew Liam would be at his new apartment, a fancy place he bragged he could only afford with a company car. I asked Susan to meet me there. We pulled up just as the flatbed truck from the transport service arrived. Liam came out, a smug smile on his face. "Took you long enough, Pops. Got the title?" "I do," I said calmly, "and I've decided what to do with it." I nodded to the driver, who started setting up the ramps. Liam's smile vanished. "What are you doing?" My lawyer, Susan, stepped forward, all business. "Liam, pursuant to the vehicle ownership agreement dated June 12, 2018, Mr. Jameson is repossessing his property. Your access privileges have been revoked." "What agreement? That's my car." He shouted, his face turning red. "I'm afraid not," I said, pulling the notarized document from my jacket pocket. "You were never the owner. You were a listed driver, a courtesy you have thoroughly abused." The scene drew a crowd from his apartment complex. People were filming on their phones. Liam was sputtering, screaming that I was a thief, a crazy old man. But he was powerless. The law was on my side. The most beautiful poetic moment was watching that deep blue Mustang, gleaming in the sun, being carefully winched up onto the flatbed. It was the physical manifestation of his greed and my resolve, driving away forever. He stood on the curb, watching his symbol of status disappear. The look on his face wasn't just anger. It was the dawning horror of realizing he had gambled with our relationship and lost everything. He'd chosen a car over his own grandfather, and in the end, he got neither. I drove away from there, not with a heart full of hate, but with a sad peace. You see, true strength isn't in holding on to things. It's in knowing when to let go of people who only value you for what you can give them. I love that boy, but I won't be bullied by my own blood. My kindness is not my weakness. It's a choice I make, and my resolve is the steel behind it. If you've ever been taken for granted by someone you loved, remember this. You hold the title to your own dignity. Never let anyone else try to drive it away. And if you think that was a lesson in entitlement, you should stick around for the story of how my daughter-in-law tried to have me declared incompetent to get her hands on my house. She learned the hard way that this old man keeps better records than the IRS.